Okay, we're ready, everyone. Thank you for coming today. There's an echo here. Okay. What shall we talk about today? I remember last time we didn't have enough time, and now today I don't know what to talk about. Huh? Anyone has any questions or comments? First of all, next weekend is our Vesak celebration, so you all invited to come and join us to celebrate Shakyamuni Buddha's birthday. It's a big deal for us. All right. Excuse me. Is there some kind of direct comment? Master YongHua is such a great teacher to me. He's by far the most the most incredible man I ever had a chance to meet in person and learn from. And very lucky, I felt extremely fortunate to be able to receive a few of his instructions for a few times. That's a lot more than I could ever expected, because that he deemed that I'm worth saying something about is in itself incredible, because I really have very low opinion of myself. Okay, I know my limitations and my quirks, but so because of that low esteem I have of myself, self-esteem, I pass it on to my students. So I notice most of you, majority of you, overwhelming majority, I would say, a very self-low esteem as well. Okay, when you're at the temple. Because I notice when we have newcomers to the temple, new people coming to the temple, people from other way places, they seem to have a pretty high opinion of themselves. Have you noticed? Huh? Or when we go to other temples, I notice they also have very high opinion of themselves. And I used to have that when I was at Master YongHua's temples. We were the best. Yes, it's true. It's natural to when you realize that you look around and there's no one else near you, anywhere near you, near your level. Of course, your standards are so high that it's understandable you think highly of yourself. So, okay, but to me, it's a wrong attitude because you practice the Dharma is not for yourself. Mahayana's philosophy, Mahayana's mindset is we practice in order to help more people than ourselves. Okay, we practice to help ourselves first, and then eventually you should be good enough to be able to help others. That's a real gauge right there for me of success. Success to me is about how capable you are in helping others, not about how good you are. Whether you're good, you're important, you're rich, you're powerful, so what? You know, it's shocking to me that Bill Gates, okay, is so rich. And he declared that after he dies, he will leave his children no money. Okay, it's like me having 4 temples, and when after I die, I say, I'll give all temples away and let my disciples swim with the sharks themselves. It doesn't make sense to me. Okay, that that you are, that your parents are so rich, and then you're left with nothing. So that's why I'm determined to leave my children everything I have, which is not much. It makes it easier. Okay, but it's more than that. It's about the knowledge that we're leaving behind in our world. It's not so much material things. It's knowledge that I hope that all of my children, the 3rd generation, I hope that all you followers have a chance to go to the Pure Land. That's what matters. It's not the temples. It's not the money. It's not how many disciples you're going to have. Okay, you have to look at the big picture. Why are we doing this? The Buddha came to our world in order to help us get out of this world, to end our suffering and experience bliss. No more suffering. Enough is enough. Why are we so attached to suffering? It doesn't make sense to me. Okay? We're so proud, when we drive a nice car or live in a nice house, and you can't take any of that with us. Same thing. I see that I used to be the case where I was proud that my master is very famous. Is one of the greatest monk ever in the history of Buddhism. Okay, it's something to be proud of, that for him to deign that you're worthy to be accepted as his disciples. Yes, something you can be proud of. But it's not a big deal in a big picture. Okay? So in my generation, I look at my generation, I wonder how many of them will be able to be as great as he is. I'm thinking of 0 right now. Okay? So what's the big deal? He's famous, he's rich, he's powerful, but what is it to you? What does it do for you? Okay? It's nothing. Yeah. The bottom line is that I'm slightly different. I'm a little bit taller as well. Okay? I'm slightly different. What matters is what we do for you. Okay? The important thing I'd like to remind you is, after it's all said and done, okay, whether you can go to the Pure Land or not by the time you die, nothing else matters. No matter how much money you have, no matter how famous you are. Last weekend I saw one of the disciples, one of the celebrity, famous entertainer, used to be famous at least, walk out of here, okay, in disgust, because he disagreed with me, okay, and that's perfectly okay. It doesn't matter you agree, disagree with me. The bottom line is I wish that you would go to the Pure Land. That's all that matters to me, okay? You can walk out of here, you can move east, north, whatever, but make sure you go to the Pure Land, okay? That would make me happy. That's all that matters, okay? In the long haul, in 100 years, no one's going to remember us. No one cares about us, including your family. They move on already, or they're dead already, okay? But then if we were to make it to the Pure Land, we'll be happy and satisfied. And we look at all these poor people in the Sahara world and say, oh, you paupers, and you think you're so cool, you're so special. Huh? You're not. Okay? And so I hope that, that's why I hope that you go to the Pure Land, so that we need to make sure, unlike my master, I want to make sure that you can go to the Pure Land after I'm gone as well. That's my commitment to you. Okay, that is, we need to find a way to help you get to the Pure Land yourselves. Otherwise, your stop here at the temple and at our way places would not be very rewarding, not meaningful. Okay, bottom line is that we got to find a way, put an end to all this madness, all this suffering, all this nonsense. Okay, all right. What do the spies have to say? The spy from my master's temples, huh? I asked them, did your master make sure that you can go to the Pure Land? Huh? I'm asking them directly. Huh? Yes, Greg.
Có, con nhờ thư phụ khai thị cho để đi đó.
What? See, that's what I'm saying. Pure Land talky Pure Land Dharmador. That's all they do. Talk. I think you go to the Pure Land. I believe you go to the Pure Land. Nonsense. It takes a lot more than just talk to go to the Pure Land. Huh? Agree, disagree? People talk too much. Okay? Yeah.
Mô Phật đồng ý thầy. Bởi vì nói nhiều làm không được bao nhiêu đâu. Bởi vì con cũng biết nữa. Nhờ thầy giúp được đi đó. Cái nguyện của Quả Ngân là như vậy đó thầy.
Master, I agree with you that people talk a lot and do very little, so that's why I rely on you so that you can help me to go to the Pure Land.
But you're not my disciple, you're Master YongHua disciple, I'm not responsible for you. Just because you come to my temple doesn't mean I'm responsible for you. You go, you're not rude.
Mô Phật và thầy, sư phụ của Quả Ngân đó, thầy đi sớm quá, con không được học được cái pháp. Bây giờ đó sư phụ dẫn dắt con tới đây đó để học thầy, đó, để thầy chỉ dạy, con mới biết con đường để đi. Mô Phật.
She's kissing up to me now. These people have no shame at all.
Master, my Shifu passed away too early, so that's why he guided me to go to the temple so that you can teach me and help me.
Because the one thing I found about Master YongHua is so remarkable is that he's so truthful. I've never met anyone as truthful as he is. Okay, so the reason that I know that his disciples will have a hard time go to the Pure Land, and that's why I stress a lot about everyone needing to go to the Pure Land, including his disciples, because when I was there, I know my generation over there, the Hung generation, they're not allowed to do Pure Land Dharma doors. Because you can make a lot of money, but then you have to lie. Okay? Because you keep on saying people, I help you go to the Pure Land, eventually they'll ask you questions that will show you don't know what you're doing. Okay? And so my master prevented that already. He says, no, you can't, we cannot do 49 days seated 10,000 Buddhas. That's forbidden. Okay? Can't do that. Actually, the only way place among his temple is in Calgary, Canada. I don't know why, okay? But they're not allowed to do 49-day services. And the 49-day services is one of the key services in the Pure Land Dharma door. Okay? You do that, eventually will come to you and say, Master, my husband, my beloved husband, did he make it to the Pure Land? That's all I want to know. I've been following you all these years. Please just tell me, is he in the Pureland or not? What are you going to say? You have to BS your way out of it, but you don't know. And that's why my master is very, very protective of his children, of us. He says, don't do it, because eventually you get in trouble. Okay? Yes, YouTube.
Maple asks, could Master please explain why we are not supposed to recite the Shurangama mantra in the hospital?
Shuranga mantra I don't recite in the hospitals or cemeteries or funeral homes. Don't do that, because that mantra, if you have Kung Fu, it's not for everyone. But if you have Kung Fu, you can harm them, do a lot of harm to them. They get very offended. They get very upset. Okay? For example, one of my disciples up north, in Northern California, the family used to recite the Shuranga mantra. Okay? The way that we practice here. And one of the children is bipolar. So it got to the point where they have some kung fu. When they recite it, the child would throw tantrums. So I found out about that. We didn't know. We found out about that. So I asked them to stop reciting the Shuranga mantra and instead recite the Great Compassion mantra, and the tantrums stopped. Okay, so the mantra itself is very powerful. Can harm the ghosts and the demons. Okay, so that's why you don't want to recite in the places where the ghosts and demons are. For two reasons. Number one, if you have kung fu like us, professionals, you can really harm them. Number two, if you don't have kung fu like most of you, you will attack them, and they get upset, and you're gonna not like their reaction. Okay, so that's why don't recite the Shuranga mantra at those places. Okay. All right, go ahead, you two.
Emily asks, what samadhi level does one have to be in order for the mantra or the sutra recitation to work in helping any beings, like reciting the rebirth to help the ghosts and spirits?
It depends on who happens to be around. For example, you go to a certain temple. Each temple has their own Dharma protectors. Dharma protectors are there in order to protect the people, the cultivators there. So if, like, for example, your level of cultivation is of a kindergarten, then Dharma protectors only need to be protecting the kindergarten Dharma doors. Okay? The people need only level protection. You will not find people who are protecting much higher levels at all at those places. Okay. Similarly, these ghosts and spirits, the stronger ones. This is why you don't want to mess around with these beings or recite these things that are offensive to them. They are harmful to them. Is that if you do that, suppose it's similar to you go to what's they call the MMA, those octagon, you watch those things too? All right. The rest of them, they have no culture. Those MMA, you know, those martial arts fighter, mixed martial arts fighters, you know, they kick, they bite, they do everything else, anything that they need to do to beat you, including killing you. Okay, it's like you go into a ring, that octagon ring, and to face a professional fighter, okay, and you just learn how to punch. Okay, they're gonna kill you. Okay, you have to be careful. So don't overdo it. You need to know your limitation. You need to know that the world has many different levels. Okay, for example, you come to our temple and you have a bad attitude. Don't be surprised that you'll be punished. It won't be from us. It's probably from our Dharma protectors. Okay, so that's why it varies. And that's why you don't walk around with an attitude. That's your best protection. You don't offend people, and you know that the purpose of all this is to help others. It's not about yourself at all. Okay, so there's no answer to that. It depends, but you never know who's there. So that's why you don't. You avoid doing things that are offensive to others. Okay. So in particular, this is why my master did not allow us to do rebirth Dharma doors. Because when you do rebirth, what happened is that for any of you to go to the Pureland, okay, you have to be able to get away from your creditors, the people you owe to. Like who? Who do you owe money to? The banks, yes? For your mortgage, for your cars, yes? Who else do you owe to? Your girlfriend, yes? They won't let you eat. Okay? Who else do you owe to? You see, there's so many people we owe to. It's very hard to skip town, right? When they know. Especially brother, the Godfather. You don't want to skip town. The Godfather. It doesn't matter where you go. Okay, so that's the idea. For you to go to the Pureland, you need to be able to get away from these beings that you owe to right now who are here. You came here. Remember, we all came here to repay our debts. That's one of the biggest reasons why we're here. This body we have here is to repay for us to repay our debts. So for you to get away from this place here is very, very difficult. How do they make sure that they are repaid? They make sure you fall. Okay? And when you fall, you're here in this realm for a long, long time. Okay? And they have their fun, okay, including some of those who think they go to the heavens, they're better off, only temporarily. They lull to a sense of complacency, and they think they are cool and they are safe. No, it's only temporary. Eventually, just like everything else, okay. No, it doesn't matter how much money you have. Eventually, when you keep on spending your money, they'll be used up. Yes? It's not forever. Nothing is forever. Okay? So that's why for you to go to the Pureland, you have a lot of obstructions. Incredible amount of obstructions, one after another, after another, after another. Look around. See how many people can come to this temple, to our temple, to learn how to get away from here. Because they can't. You know that? People can't come here. It's very difficult to come to the temple. And multiply by that by incredibly bigger number. If you want to go to Pure Land, it's that kind of obstruction you're going to have. It's very, very difficult. That's number one. Number two, the Pure Land is so far away from here. That's the reality. The sutra says it's 10 billion galaxies away to the west. You know how far that is? I don't even know how far it is. It's just unthinkable. 10 billion galaxies away. I'm not sure that we can even see it with our technology. That's how difficult it is. That's how far away it is. How are we going to get there? The only way I know how to get there is, and anyone helps me out. How can you get there? The only way I know of is Amitabha Buddha. He says, I have to come and get you. I have to bring a convoy to bring you back. That's how difficult it is. So how do we make sure he comes here? Huh? It's that simple. You want to go to Pure Land, make sure he comes here to bring you back when you die. How else? It's the only way I know of. See the kind of difficulties we have? How do we make sure he comes here? You can promise me, you can say how wonderful the Pure Land is and all those things, but how do I get there? How is he going to come here and get me? Huh? Why would he come here and get you? Because I do a 49-day service for you? Really? You believe anything, don't you? It's very difficult. Better face it. It's not as easy as you think. My master, he came here for 50 years from another world, from the Pure Land actually. He came here. Okay? And now in my generation, we don't know how to get to the Pure Land ourselves. His disciples, there's proof right there. He says, I don't know how to get to the Pure Land, because he never told us how to get to the Pure Land. He just told us, go to the Pure Land. That's reality. He didn't say, recite Pure Land, I guarantee you go to the Pure Land this lifetime. Never said that. So it's for us to figure it out. And it's on top of it, he says to my generation, left home people, he says, don't do Pure Land Dharma doors. You can't do it. See, we professionals, our Kung Fu are higher than most of the people out there. And yet he says, you don't know what you do and you can't handle Pure Land Dharma door. And that's why that woman there is confused. She has to come here and have a look around for a place, for a way to go there. Be humble. It's very difficult. It's not as easy as you think. It's a very big deal. You remember two things? You have so many obstructions. As soon as you want to go to Pure Land, they're going to come and stop you, your creditors. Okay? And then once you get past those creditors, and then what? How are you going to get there? Only Amitabha can bring you there. How are you going to make sure that he's going to come here and bring you back? Huh? How? You recite the Buddha's name? Excuse me. You know how many billions of people recite the Buddha's name in the history of Buddhism? And how many made it to the Pure Land? Huh? Think about it. Let's be practical. Let's be real. Oh well, I don't have an answer for you. But be cognizant of the fact it's very, very difficult. It's not as easy. People say, yes, you go to Pure Land. The point is that, yes, it's true. You will go to Pure Land eventually if you recite the Buddha's name. But what's difficult is how to go there this lifetime. That's the key. Okay? Questions and comments? That's what irks me about these Pure Land people. Then no one is like my master, and the Master YongHua, who says, if you can't help them, don't do it. Don't mislead people. Because you do, you yourself can't go to the Pure Land. Okay? We don't tolerate such people. Why? You mislead people so that you're more famous, and you have a bigger temple, have a lot of disciples, and have more money. And then what? You fall? Is it worth it? Not to me. Seriously, I advise you to go to Pure Land. I do stupid things that prevents me from going to the Pure Land. I'm not taking my own advice. Yes, Gray.
Mô Phật bạch thầy, mình muốn về Tây Phương á, thầy cũng rất là dễ, cũng rất là khó. Mình mà buông xả hết tất cả đó, thầy A Di Đà tới rước mình. Rồi mà mình chấp trước, mình chấp trước quá nhiều đó, nặng nề quá, làm sao mình đi được? Thì mình phải nhờ một cái tha lực để giúp mình đi. Chứ bây giờ mình tu đó là cái con người mình chấp trước, không có buông xả, rất là nặng nề, làm sao mà đi nổi. Thì cũng mình nhờ được một cái tha lực để giúp mình đi, để mà mình trồng được một cái phước giảng sanh, đã cái nguyện của mình đã nhờ thầy giúp mình để trồng được một cái phước giảng sanh để mình mới đi được. Chứ khơi mà nó niệm Phật, niệm tới thục lưỡi cũng không có đi được đó thầy, con dám chắc như vậy đó. Mình niệm tới mà một ngày nào đó mình cố chấp nhiều quá, nói tin ai nào nói tiếng đó rất là dễ mà mình nghe rất là khó. Mà những người mà bị có A Di Đà tới rước đó, thì những người đó là buông xả tất cả hết, nhẹ nhàng rồi A Di Đà mới tới rước mình thôi. Bây giờ mình niệm Phật giống quả ngân như này, đừng có nói ai cho nó. Một ngày niệm, một ngày không, rồi sao mà đi được? Phải mình nhờ cái, tại vì mình có cái nghiệp của mình, nó ấy, mình không có được buông xả hết. Đó. Là mình phải nhờ cái tha lực, nhờ những người thầy nào đó. Nhờ thầy đó, bây giờ nhờ thầy đi, cũng là giúp cho tụi con để ngồi ở đây, ai nào cũng đi được đi giảng sanh. Mô Phật.
I like her less and less.
Master, going to the Pure Land, it's easy, but it's not easy. So those who can let go of everything, then Amitabha Buddha will come and bring them back to the Pure Land. But those that has a lot of attachment, then they need to rely on others' help. So for example, I myself recite the Buddha's name, but I will recite one day and then the next day I forgot, and then the next day I recite, and then I don't recite, I skip. And it's because of my karma, my obstruction. That's why I need to rely on Master here to help me to blend the rebirth blessing and help me to go to the Pure Land.
There's one thing that is interesting to me is this woman here, the spy number one. Has been spying here for a long, long time. That's why she's number one. And also number two is on the other side, who has been here for 5-6 years as well. We keep him busy, I guess. The kind of interesting thing about this spy number one is that she used to come to my temple and cook for me. And now she doesn't bother doing it anymore. So all she does is irk me, ask me questions and get me in trouble. These two spies, they're they're cooperating, colluding, to working together to get me in trouble. Ask me kind of questions and saying things that get me in trouble. But it's funny to me that the spy number one doesn't do anything anymore at the temple. It's not a complaint, okay? She says, I'm too old now, and you don't need any help anymore. And so she doesn't she doesn't cook anymore. She only comes to the Dharma talks and lectures to give me a hard time, okay? But at the same time, she's improved. How is it possible? That's interesting. You call her son and say, look at your mother. Have you noticed that she's healthier now? And her head is sharper now than before? How is it possible? Huh? I think that there's a God for troublemakers. Must be the case. I know it's the Amitabha Buddha, because we don't like troublemakers. Anyway, it's not true. Stop saying nonsense. You can drop all you want. It doesn't mean you can go to the Pure Land. It's not that easy. You can give away your fortune. You still can't go to the Pure Land. But it's true. Let me simplify it for you. Okay? I don't know how other people do it. Okay? But because my master never really spelled it out for us, for my generation. We had to figure it out. And he didn't quite specifically say that, but he say this indirectly. That is, number one, if you recite the Buddha's name, for you to go to the Pure Land, only two ways that I think he tried to tell my generation. I found it to be true. Number one is that you enter the Buddha recitation samadhi. You recite the Buddha's name, okay, and you enter this recitation samadhi, and our disciples have been able to do that. Then these people are guaranteed to go to the Pure Land. Okay, that's self-help right there. If you can do that, you recite the Buddha's name, and you enter this samadhi, you will be able to go to the Pure Land on your own power. If you can't recite, it's not about how long and so forth. It's just you need to somehow manage to find a way to enter the samadhi, then you will be able to go to the Pure Land. Okay, Amitabha Buddha will come and get you. Okay, and the other option is like that woman who doesn't recite and only her mind is full of non-cultivation, non-recitation stuff. Okay, she's very afflicted. The spy number one, very afflicted. So when you're that afflicted, it's very difficult to enter this samadhi. Okay, she's wrong. It's not about dropping. It's about making sure that when you recite the Buddha's name, to drop your afflictions. Doesn't matter what your afflictions are, you have to drop them, because they are stopping you from entering the samadhi, and therefore you cannot go to the Pure Land. Doesn't matter how much you recite the Buddha's name. Many people recite the Buddha's name for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Not for sure they can go to the Pure Land, because they're still afflicted. You can tell. Okay? And they're still very afflicted. So it doesn't matter how long. So there's a clue right there. You recite the Buddha's name. See people reciting the Buddha's name. Hear people claiming they recite Buddha's name. Are they afflicted? Are they angry? Are they greedy? Are they still stupid? Then it's not likely they can enter this samadhi. You can tell, okay? And the other option is, Master YongHua didn't quite say it, but I would say this for you, which is consistent with what he said. I'm not going to repeat what he said either. Okay, it's not, if you don't get it, then it's not meant for you. He said it already, but somewhere in all his teachings, he said this. And I picked it out, okay? I said, oh, that's what happened. And so, but I will give you an analogy to help you understand. Okay? I wish he did that, but it's too late now. One way is like when you look for a job. I just thought of it recently. And the hiring company asks you for references. And you give the wrong references. Right? They ask, give me a reference that speaks of your character. And you give a reference, this guy is crazy. Huh? And the hiring company realizes this guy is crazy. How much is that reference worth? What do you think? Okay? On the other hand, if you're looking for a job and President Biden gives you a reference, you have pretty good chances. You have a strong chance of getting hired, wouldn't you think? Huh? And that's the analogy. Does it drive the point home, some of you? The references is very important. That's others' help right there. So if you cannot enter this recitation samadhi, better make sure you get someone who gives you good reference, so that Emitofuo Buddha says, I know about him. I will make sure that he's hired. Make sure that he gets to the Pure Land. Does it make sense? Same principle. Okay? You understand now the difference between Pure Land and Chan now? Chan is that we can give you references all we want, but you're not going to become enlightened. Because enlightenment is self-help. You have to get yourself become enlightened. If you don't do it, no one can become enlightened for you. However, if you want to go to another place, okay, all you need is a pass. All you need is someone to give you a reference. Those reference letters, or your hotel room card, that you can go through the door. And that's all you need. Okay, that's the nature of Pure Land Dharma doors. Okay, for comparison purposes, you want to go to the heavens. Okay, can you get the same thing? Can you do a reference so that God and the gods will let you go through past the pearly gates? I don't know. You better find out. Yes, YouTube. Question.
There's a question from Tianguo. Master, are these three persons, Fang Dongmei, Professor Fang Dongmei, Zhang Jiang Dashi, Li Bingnan, enlightened being? They were the teachers of a modern Pure Land propagator.
I don't know. I don't know about them. If I did, I wouldn't tell you either. I don't know you. Why should I tell you about those people? Okay, yes, Catholic.
So I have a question. So doing the same analogy that you were having, if a Buddhist wants a reference, where would they go to?
Translation. Hey, do your job, translator. See,
I think he said if a Buddhist wants a reference, where can he get one? Is that the question? Or a reference for the Pure Land, where can he get a reference to go to the Pure Land?
You're Catholic, what do you care? I'm not going to answer that. Okay, you two, go ahead.
Ebeli asks, Master, can you verify yourself that you have entered the Buddha recitation samadhi, or does it have to be certified?
Can you yourself decide you enter? No, you don't need to be certified. It's not like Chan where you need to be certified. We need to be certified in order to avoid the demonic states and avoid you trying to oversell yourself in Chan school. Okay? It actually, for me personally, is also in order to make sure that you know your limitation and don't teach Chan before you're ready. Okay? Even you after you certify, doesn't mean you can teach Chan either. For example, I saw a couple of second ground bodhisattvas alive in our history, and then I look at their disciples. The second ground bodhisattvas who came to our world to teach us, to help us, to cross over living beings. And I look at the next generation, I look at a few of them. Okay? I don't see any enlightened beings. That's a proof right there that, to me, that they cannot train their disciples. Okay? So that's why you usually are not, you shouldn't teach until you're ready. Okay? But as far as the Buddha recitation samadhi, it's not something that needs to be certified at all. Okay, apparently Master YongHua says the first Pure Land patriarch, Master Huiyin, only entered that samadhi like a few times, 4 or 5 times, maybe. He himself is a scholar. He specialized in reciting Buddha's name. He entered it only 4 or 5 times. Okay, so it's not as easy as you think. It could be easy, but it's not easy as you think. Okay? All right, but that's him. Who cares? If he enters samadhi, good for him. What about us? That's what I'm concerned about. You too, go ahead.
Tiango asks, Master, is it possible to tell a person has entered the Buddha recitation samadhi by looking at their picture, like the way you tell a person's level?
If I tell the way I look at people's photo and tell the level, I could be BSing you. Why would you believe that? I mean, this person here keeps on asking about others. How about you? Get yourself enlightened and find out for yourself. You know, all this person wants is about tell me about others. Okay? And the main thing is about you. And whether I tell about others, it doesn't help you get to the Pure Land, doesn't help you become enlightened. It doesn't matter. That's why I usually don't answer those types of questions. They're gossiping. I gossip in private. I don't gossip online. Gossiping in privately is much more fun. You can say anything you want. Okay? Anything else? So that's again. So that's the others help part of the Pure Land Dharma door. Okay, meaning that if you cannot, you are not able to enter this recitation samadhi, you don't have enough blessings to go to the Pure Land yourself, then we need someone to give you a reference. Okay? Does it make sense? That's all. So, too bad that his disciples and I and my generation, we missed out on Master YongHua. He didn't tell people he could give us a reference. He could. He's one of those people who can give you a reference. Okay? That, if you knew, you should have come to him, like the spy number one, who should have come to him when he was still alive, when she still had a chance, and asked him, Master, I really want to go to Pureland. You forgot to emphasize this, okay? You taught me a lot of things, but the one main thing is for me to get out of this mess, to end my suffering, okay? And it doesn't look like I can end this mess this lifetime, okay? Can you give me a reference so that I can go to the Pureland when I die, after I die? He never told us that. So that's why my generation, we're confused. For professionals like us, we're told that we're not supposed to do the rebirth Dharma doors. It's a lot of trouble. You deal with if we have to deal with your past creditors, okay, one after another, we're so overwhelmed we cannot cultivate. Okay, we cannot become enlightened. Okay, and we become enlightened, and all we do is make money and deal with your obstructions. We probably age and become so old, become so sick, like my master. Okay, so that's why a very, very difficult thing to do. Yes, spy number one.
Mô Phật bạch thầy, con có nghe Tịnh Không nói đó. Người ta hỏi Tịnh Không á, thầy Tịnh Không hòa thượng nói cái quan gia trái chủ đó phải cần những người thầy rất là hay giúp đỡ mới được. Cái quan gia trái chủ này là có chứ không phải là không. Cái này là chính là Tịnh Không nói. Mà mấy người mà muốn giải những cái quan gia trái chủ đó là có những người thầy rất là hay mới giải được, chứ không cái gì bình thường đó không ai giải được những cái nghiệp này đâu. Cái này là hòa thượng Tịnh Không nói đó. Mô Phật.
Master Ching Kong, he said that the past creditor, in order to deal with them, you need to find a very good teacher, a real cultivator to help you to deal with them, because they're very strong and you cannot handle them yourself. So you really need help from a real cultivator.
Okay, when you listen to this spy here, okay, be careful, because her quotes are very inaccurate. Okay, be careful. This is why I don't trust her at all, because if I respond to her comment about someone else's, usually her quote are very inaccurate, and I get in trouble. See, I think she's doing this on purpose again. So I'm not gonna touch it. Okay. If you ask me a question, better not use any names, so that when I jump and got caught in your traps, I will not offend the other monks and nuns. It's not my business to offend others. We are all in the same boat, okay? I gain nothing from putting others down or slandering others. It's not why we're doing this, okay? So when in the future, when you ask me questions, don't mention names. I will answer. I will make a comment. You mention names, I'm not going to say anything. Okay? Nice try is my answer. Yes, sir. Same question, no names? Yes.
Master, you talk about having good reference to enter Pureland. So it's very rare to find that kind of reference. And you mentioned Master YongHua is one of those people.
Yes.
So he's a bodhisattva. Does that mean you have to be at that level and become one of those reference? Can any bodhisattva become a reference to Pure Land?
Mm-mm.
So
He's from the Pure Land. They know each other. See that? When you give a reference, you ask for a reference. Ask from someone who knows Amitabha Buddha. Got it? Huh?
have a follow-up question.
So you see, you don't ask a crazy person. You also ask someone who knows them, preferably. Huh? Yes.
Okay, so does that mean you have to come from Pure Land to be a reference? Can somebody cultivate to become one?
Come again?
So Master YongHua come from Pure Land, that's why he's a reference. But can somebody cultivate here and become one themselves?
Yeah, you could. It's possible. But the clue is that most likely that person is from the Pure Land. It's too far. You cultivate here, and Amitabha says, none of my business. I'm busy enough. Got it? Just gossip a little bit, shall we? People say that Master YongHua is Wan Yin and kind of thing. I'm telling you, he's not. Okay? He's from the Pure Land. He was sent here by Amitabha Buddha. But Amitabha Buddha did not tell him to teach Pure Land. That's why he didn't teach much. Why not? Because so that my generation, we cannot be arrogant and say, I'm Mahayana, because Mahayana is everything. If you teach Mahayana and you don't understand Pure Land, your Mahayana is not Mahayana. Understand that, huh? Spy number one? How can you teach Chan? How can you teach secret school? How can you teach sutras when you can't handle Pure Land? Your Mahayana has a gaping hole. We should be humble ourselves. We don't understand Pure Land to say, I can't handle Pure Land. I'm not Mahayana. Excuse me. Don't get your hopes up too high. I can't handle it. I'm not Mahayana. I'm just a subset of Mahayana. Does it make sense? That's our reality. Huh? How can we be Mahayana? Mahayana, my master brought here, is everything. Yes? It is precepts, morality, it is Chan, it is mantras, for two hands and eyes, it is sutras, it is Pure Land. Without Pure Land is not Mahayana, folks. It's so clear to me that if I'm told not to do Pure Land, that means I don't understand Mahayana. Right? We should know our limitation. He gave us so many clues already. And that's why it's designed to help us avoid confusion and making mistakes. Okay? You ask a 6-page chart, which we'll be lecturing this afternoon. He only teaches Pure Land. But do you think that he only understands Pure Land? I mean, he teaches only Chan. You think he understands only Chan? Heck no. He understands everything. Understands Lotus Sutra. Anyone ask him about any questions about Lotus Sutra, Mahaparinirvana Sutra, he understands them all. He can answer them just like that without thinking. That's a proof right there. No need to beat around the bush. These great teachers are like that. Okay? They don't make excuses. They say, I don't know. Why do you bother me? I don't know. Go and bother someone else. Yes, you too.
Tiango asks, Master, the
It's
reference
the third
you
question
refer
today.
to,
Yes.
is it good knowing advisor?
Who? Who's a good no advisor?
The reference you refer to, is it a good knowing advisor?
Possibly. For example, I have yet to see a lay person who can give a reference for you. How's that? There's no lay person I know of who can give you a reference to help you get to the Pure Land. Yes, Daniel.
Out of curiosity, and also I'm just curious, do you give that reference to go to the Pure Land?
Do I keep the reference? I
Do
don't
you-
keep references.
Do you give the reference to go to the Pure Land for Buddhist people?
You mean, do I give you a reference
Yes, do you give the reference?
to you? No, I'm not going to give you references. You Catholic, what are you talking about? You trying to get me in trouble again with your God? Stay over there. He's a good guy, your God. We're good buddies. I don't want to offend him. Anyone else? You think that Amitabha says, bring me all the Catholics? Seriously. If we bring all of you, send all of you to the Pure Land, what is God going to do with his time? We got to keep him busy. Anyone else? Okay? So that's a new theme today. Okay? You got a reference, a good reference. Huh? Not just any reference. Okay? So I'm revealing you slowly, gradually, so that we demystify this Pure Land Dharma door that the Asians managed to completely distort until my master came along. The Asian distorted the Pure Land Dharma door to the point where it becomes superstition nowadays. Oh, my master is very popular. My master is great, has so many followers, and therefore we believe everything he says. Baloney. My point here is that all these people's level are below my master's disciples' levels. That's a fact. And my own master's disciples cannot help you go to the Pure Land, cannot handle Pure Land. How can these? Huh? What kind of nonsense is this? Yes, you too. If it's number 4, better not be the same person.
It is Tango.
Okay.
Tango asks,
We don't gossip is the answer.
They ask, is this reference a monastic who can perform the 49 days or other dharmas to send a being to Pure Land?
Maybe. Yes, great.
Mô Phật bạch thầy, nói cái vụ quan gia trái chủ đó thì Quả Ngân không có biết đâu, mà Quả Ngân nghe trong lỗ tai Quả Ngân cũng học được 10 mấy năm cái tiếng quan gia trái chủ đó. Cái đó là giống Quả Ngân vậy đó. Từ quá khứ, từ hiện tại, vị lai thầy con chưa biết, là cái đó là phải cần giải quyết những cái con đường đó trước đó. Cái quan gia trái chủ đó, thầy con cũng học tới 10 mấy năm rồi, bữa nay nghe thầy khai thị ra đó thì cái quan gia trái chủ đó mình phải giải quyết ở trong cái kiếp này. Mô Phật. Mà không biết giải quyết làm sao, thầy phải giúp đỡ khai thị cho tụi con để biết. Thầy, con
okay.
cũng bây giờ cũng hiểu, cũng có thể biết mà không thể mà giải quyết được thì thầy cũng phải để giải quyết cho tụi con. Mô Phật.
Okay, don't bother translating. She's lai nhai. What's lai nhai in English? Lo suo. Speaking nonsense. Okay, it's okay. She says, "Help me resolve the past creditors." Why is it my business? It's just like they come here and say, "Help me." I say, "Why should I help you?" Excuse me, do I know you? You a spy, remember? It's funny. The son says, hello. I do sense she's feeling better. She mentioned she slimmed down a bit. You can tell she walks lighter. You don't know it. I look at people, I look at how you walk. All of you, I look at how you walk. Okay? It tells you, says a lot about your general state of health. Okay? So she slimmed down a bit, means she lost at least 10 pounds. I believe as the Buddha's helping, it's Chinglish for you. What do you think? None of my business is the answer. All you have to do is look at if there are changes, then you look at what is the change element, what has changed, what's the new catalyst. Okay? What happened recently? You be smart. That's all. You don't have changes unless there is a change factor. Yes, great. You see, this woman here has so much energy now. Before she say, "Let me ask you 2 questions," now she monopolizes the microphone.
Mô Phật. Và thầy cũng mau quá, có thần thông dễ sợ luôn. Có thần thông hiện tại luôn.
See? All right. Okay, we stop here. Thank you, everyone. Okay. To be